Good day and welcome to Alena Media TV. We are broadcasting from Toronto, Canada. I am Elsa Abraham. Today we have African news. Let's go for the details. Ethiopia angered by Egypt's alleged plan to establish military base in Somalia. Cairo, Ethiopia shot a warning at Egypt in response to Cairo's alleged intention to establish a military base in East Africa, claiming that an Egyptian delegation met with Somaliland President Muse Bihi Abdi in Hargeisa and discussed Egypt's plans to build a military facility in the self-declared state. The reported Somaliland meeting was not acknowledged by Egyptian officials, and the news emerged from a single Kenyan news site. Spokesperson for the Ethiopian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Dina Mufti, told the nation's newspaper on July 27th, as a sovereign country, Egypt has a legitimate right to create relationships with any country in the region. Retired Egyptian Major General Abdel Menhem Kato told Al Monitor that Ethiopia is trying to turn the international and African community against Egypt by showing that the Ethiopian people are treated unjustly. He added that one of Ethiopia's strategies is accusing the Egyptian state of controlling the Nile. Kato stressed that the Ethiopian statements are inaccurate and there is no truth to the rumor that Egypt is working to establish a military base in Somaliland. Kato also went ahead and said Addis Ababa is waging a media war on Egypt to drum up international sympathy in the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam crisis. Meanwhile, he added military intervention over the Jed crisis is not an option for Egypt, as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has recently said that the only solution is through peaceful negotiations. He said Ethiopia is mismanaging the Jed crisis and trying to tarnish Egypt's image, but it will not work because international observers widely condemn Ethiopia's action in the Nile River affair, which threatens to bring instability to the region. Bringing the case to the UN Security Council would not go well for Addis Ababa. Hani Ralston, head of Nile Basin Studies at Al Ahram Center for Political and Strategic Studies, told Al Monitor that Ethiopia's actions violate international regulations. Ethiopia has no right to interfere with Egypt's relations with other states, he said. Ralston noted the Jed negotiations have become fertile since the dam has already been constructed and is being filled, and that no Egypt-Somaliland agreement will affect the Jed crisis. Jamal Rahan, a professor of political science at Suez Canal University, told Al Monitor Ethiopia is capitalizing on Egypt's diplomatic and peaceful response to make false allegations. I believe this has made Ethiopia greedier when it comes to Egypt. The 2015 agreement must be cancelled because it is not the interest of Egypt. The Jed crisis is ongoing and Egypt will suffer from the long-term effect. Ahmed, a researcher on Egypt's affairs, told Al Monitor that Ethiopia does not want Egypt to defend its national security. All Ethiopian strategies against Egypt are intended to block negotiations that could result in a balanced solution between the two countries in a way that maintains Ethiopia's right to development and Egypt's water share, he explained. No Egyptian or Somali official has made a statement about establishing an Egyptian military base in Somalia, he added. Although there are several foreign military bases in Djibouti, Ethiopia sees an Egyptian military base in the Somalia as a threat to its security, he said. Ezedine said that Egypt will not opt for military intervention in the Jed crisis with Ethiopia, despite its army strength. The two countries already have an agreement that Ethiopia still has not implemented. Egypt is serious about reaching a peaceful solution, but Ethiopia wants to manipulate the international community for sympathy. Now moving on to our next story for today, rains complicate Ethiopian hydro dam dispute. Ethiopia says it had reached a major common understanding with Egypt and Sudan related to the first failing and annual operation of the 6.4 GW Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, paving the way to a breakthrough agreement in the contentious dispute that is primarily about use of the River Nile's waters. As Power reported in depth earlier this month, tensions between Ethiopia and Egypt related to filling of the Jed Reservoir on the Blue Nile, a significant Nile tributary, escalated after US-mediated talks collapsed in February. Egypt recently sought intervention by the United Nations Security Council, warning the dispute could provoke crisis and conflict that could further destabilize an already troubled region. Ethiopia has continued pushing for a resolution brokered by the African Union. According to a 21st July statement from Ethiopia's Office of the Prime Minister, the three countries agreed to continue talks during a recent virtual meeting hosted by the AU and observed by the European Union and the United States. According to Ethiopia, Egypt and Sudan agreed for further technical discussions on the failing to continue in the AU-led process and proceed to a comprehensive agreement, the office said. However, the office also said that current rainfall and runoff in the region have made it conducive to achieve first filling of the massive dam. The ministry noted that the dam under construction is already overtopping. Ethiopia's push to unilaterally fill the dam has been a major point of contention in the decade-long dispute. Tensions escalated against last week after satellite images released on July 14th by the US from Maxar Technology showed water beginning to fill in a reservoir behind the dam. Ethiopia's water minister Selashi Bekele on July 16th reportedly stressed that the water levels in the reservoir were owing to heavy rainfall and not due to a conscious effort to fill the dam. But as reported by Ethiopian state-owned media, Bekele also said first filling of the dam will allow first test of the two turbines, while the statement on July 21st did not specify how much water is now in the reservoir. Ethiopia has previously said the first year target was 4.9 billion cubic meters of water. Bekele reportedly said 560 meters above sea level is the height required to hold that amount of water. The dam is capable of holding 74 billion cubic meters of water to enable 6.4 GW of power. Egypt responded to the images last week by demanding an urgent clarification. Sudan, meanwhile, raised alarms that water levels were dropping along the river. It was evident from the flow meters in the Al Daim border station with Ethiopia that there is a retreat in the water levels, equivalent to 90 million cubic meters, 3 billion cubic feet per day, confirming the closure of the gates of the Renaissance Dam, Sudan's Ministry of Irrigation and Water Resources said in a statement. Foreign Policy on Wednesday reported that the Trump administration is mulling withholding some aid to Ethiopia if negotiations hit another impasse. Citing an unnamed source, the news magazine also suggested the project has fueled divisions and confusion over handling of the emerging crisis by the U.S. Treasury and State Department. Still, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa, who chaired the AU virtual meeting on Tuesday, said on Twitter that the trilateral negotiations remain on track. He described the meeting as constructive and thanked all parties involved for their commitment to finding African solutions to African problems. On Tuesday, meanwhile, the Egyptian presidency noted in a statement that it was agreed at the conclusion of the summit to continue negotiations and focus for the time being on giving priority to developing a binding legal agreement on the rules for failing and operating the Renaissance Dam. This is where we end today's African news. Please like, share, comment. Let us know your thoughts on this particular episode. Thanks for watching.